Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into one of history's most fascinating yet overlooked empires, the Khazars. Ever heard of them? No? Well, buckle up, because this is the story of a nomadic empire that ruled the steppes, converted to Judaism, and played a crucial role in shaping the medieval world. Let's get into it. So, who were the Khazars? Imagine this. It is the 7th century, and the world is divided among superpowers. To the west, the Byzantine Empire, heirs to Rome, holds sway. To the south, the Islamic Caliphates are expanding rapidly. To the east, the Tang dynasty dominates China. And in the middle of this geopolitical chessboard, the Khazars rise to power in the Eurasian steppes. The Khazars were a Turkic people, part of the larger steppe culture that had long defined the region. They likely descended from the western branch of the Göktürk Khaganate, a vast nomadic empire that stretched across Central Asia. When the Göktürks fragmented, the Khazars emerged as the dominant force in the western steppes. Their territory was enormous, spanning what is now southern Russia, Ukraine, and parts of the Caucasus. The steppes were a crossroads connecting the Silk Road to Europe, and the Khazars controlled key trade routes like the Volga River. This gave them immense wealth, power, and influence. They traded in everything: silk, spices, precious metals, and notably, slaves. But the Khazars weren't just about commerce, they were warriors. Their military prowess allowed them to check the advance of powerful empires like the Arab Caliphates. They were, in many ways, the first line of defense for Eastern Europe, keeping the expanding Islamic world at bay. What set the Khazars apart was their ability to adapt. Unlike other nomadic groups that relied solely on raiding, they built a stable, centralized state. Their governance system was innovative, a dual kingship. The Khagan was a spiritual figurehead, revered but not directly involved in day-to-day affairs, while the Bek wielded real power, overseeing the military and administration. This balance of power was key to their long-lasting dominance. Now here is where things get really intriguing: the Khazar elite's conversion to Judaism. At some point in the 8th or 9th century, the ruling class made the extraordinary decision to embrace Judaism, a rare and bold choice, especially for a steppe empire. The most famous account comes from the Khazar correspondence, letters exchanged between King Joseph of Khazaria and Hasdai ibn Shaprut, a Jewish diplomat in Muslim Spain. King Joseph described a theological debate held at the Khagan's court. Representatives of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism were invited to argue their case, and in the end, the Khagan chose Judaism. But why? Historians have debated this for centuries. One theory is that it was a political move. The Khazars were caught between two powerful monotheistic neighbors, the Christian Byzantines and the Muslim Caliphates. By adopting Judaism, they avoided aligning with either side and maintained their independence. It was a diplomatic masterstroke. Another possibility is that the decision was influenced by existing Jewish communities in the region. Jewish merchants and refugees had long traveled through Khazar lands, bringing not only goods, but also religious and cultural ideas. However, it is important to note that this conversion was likely limited to the elite. The majority of Khazars probably continued to practice traditional Turkic religions or converted to Islam. But for the ruling class, adopting Judaism meant building synagogues, studying the Torah, and even corresponding with Jewish scholars across the medieval world. The implications of this conversion were profound. Some theories, like those proposed by Arthur Koestler in the 13th tribe, suggest that the Khazars are the ancestors of Ashkenazi Jews. While this idea is controversial and largely discredited by modern genetic studies, it underscores the unique place the Khazars occupy in Jewish history. Alright, let us shift gears and talk about the Khazar military, the backbone of their empire. The Khazars were classic steppe warriors, masters of horseback archery and lightning-fast raids. Their armies were highly mobile, using the vast open plains of the steppes to outmaneuver heavier and slower forces. One of their greatest military achievements was the Battle of Ardabil in 730 AD. The Arab Caliphate had launched an invasion into the Caucasus, but the Khazars, led by their general Bajik, struck back with devastating force. They ambushed the Arab army near Ardabil, killing the general Jarrah ibn Abdullah and routing the invaders. According to some accounts, Barjik took Jarrah's head and mounted it as a trophy. This victory temporarily halted the Arab advance, but the struggle was far from over. In 737 AD, the Arab general Marwan ibn Muhammad, later the last Umayyad caliph, led a massive campaign against the Khazars. Marwan's forces crossed the Caucasus, sacked the Khazar capital of Balanjar, and even forced the Kagan to temporarily convert to Islam. While the Khazars eventually regained their independence, this marked a turning point in their conflict with the Caliphate. Their relationship with the Rus was equally dynamic. Initially, the Rus, who were emerging as a powerful force in Eastern Europe, paid tribute to the Khazars. But by the 10th century, this dynamic shifted. The Rus, led by Prince Sviatoslav of Kiev, launched a series of devastating campaigns. In 965 AD, Sviatoslav sacked the Khazar capital of Atil, delivering a blow from which the Khazars would never recover. One fascinating aspect of Khazar warfare was their use of fortifications. Unlike most nomads, the Khazars built fortified cities like Sarkel and Atil, which served as trade hubs and military strongholds. Sarkel, constructed with Byzantine assistance, had thick stone walls and was strategically located along the Don River. These fortresses were a testament to the Khazars' ability to combine nomadic and sedentary elements in their society. Now, let us talk about the Khazars' diplomacy, which was as intriguing as their military exploits. They were masters of playing their enemies against each other, always seeking to maximize their advantage. One of the most bizarre episodes in Khazar-Byzantine relations involved the Byzantine Emperor Justinian II. After being overthrown, Justinian fled to the Khazars, where he married the Kagan's sister and adopted the name Theodorus. With Khazar support, he regained the Byzantine throne. But in a shocking betrayal, Justinian later tried to assassinate the Kagan. The plot failed, and Justinian barely escaped with his life, a perfect example of the Khazars' unpredictable alliances. The Khazars also played a key role in the Byzantine-Persian wars and later in the Arab-Byzantine conflicts. They often sided with the Byzantines, providing crucial military assistance. For example, during Emperor Heraclius's campaigns against the Persians, the Khazars supplied troops to help secure a decisive victory. Their alliance with the Byzantines was so significant that the Byzantines even helped the Khazars build the fortress of Sarkel. Another fascinating relationship was with the Hungarians. Before the Hungarians settled in modern-day Hungary, they lived under Khazar suzerainty. The Khazars used them as a buffer against other nomadic groups like the Pechenegs. Interestingly, some Hungarian tribes adopted elements of Khazar culture, including their political structure. But like all great empires, the Khazars eventually fell. By the 10th century, they faced growing pressures from all sides. New powers were rising, and the Khazars' ability to play their neighbors against each other was waning. The most decisive blow came from the Rus, led by Prince Sviatoslav. In the 960s, Sviatoslav launched a series of campaigns aimed at securing control of the Volga trade routes. His forces sacked Atil, the Khazar capital, effectively dismantling the Khazar state. Sviatoslav's campaigns marked the end of the Khazar Empire as a significant power. But their decline wasn't just due to external attacks. New nomadic groups like the Pechenegs and Kipchaks were pushing into the steppes, displacing the Khazars. Meanwhile, the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic Caliphates no longer needed the Khazars as a buffer state, leaving them isolated. After the fall of Atil, the Khazars fragmented. Some likely assimilated into neighboring cultures, while others may have migrated westward, contributing to the Jewish communities of Eastern Europe. But their exact fate remains one of history's great mysteries. So why do the Khazars matter? For one, they were a bridge between East and West, facilitating trade, cultural exchange, and diplomacy. Their conversion to Judaism stands out as a unique chapter in religious history, challenging our assumptions about identity and faith in the medieval world. Modern debates about the Khazars' legacy often focus on their role in Jewish history. The theory that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from the Khazars has been widely debunked by genetic studies, but it remains a point of fascination for many. What is clear is that the Khazars played a pivotal role in connecting Jewish communities across Europe and the Middle East. The Khazars also remind us that history is full of forgotten stories. They were a dynamic, adaptable people who rose to power in a turbulent world, thrived for centuries, and then vanished, leaving behind only traces of their influence. Ultimately, the Khazars' story is a testament to the complexity of history. They defy easy categorization and challenge us to think beyond simplistic narratives of East versus West, nomad versus settler, or pagan versus monotheist. Their legacy is a reminder of the rich, interconnected tapestry of human history. And that is the story of the Khazars, a nomadic empire that rose, thrived, and fell, leaving behind a legacy that still fascinates us today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's hidden corners, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what other forgotten empires or historical mysteries you would like me to cover. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.